All right, so this week is a little bit different. As everybody is probably aware of, not we, but the world has coronavirus. Welcome back to the Meandering Rights, yet another week. Very different this week. We have actually changed locations a little bit early. We were planning on staying in Ericeira for a couple of more weeks, but due to the ongoing corona crisis in the world, we actually had to rethink and redo our plans. The airlines were starting to shut down, and we didn't want to get stuck in Portugal. Actually, Ericeira is a good place to be stuck in, but we only had a 3-month visa as per EU. Well, anybody with an EU passport can be within another EU state for 3 months, or 90 days, I think it is. But if we didn't get out on as scheduled, we would have been there for longer than we were allowed. Plus, after that, then like our traveler's insurance and stuff would stop working. So we decided to reschedule, and we flew back to Sweden a couple of weeks early. We're actually, it's kind of weird. Let's see if we can get a better background here. We are in Erica's sister's house, sister and her husband, of course, so sister-in-law for me. They live relatively close to where we used to live, so we know the area well, and they are not here for the moment. They're at their cabin, and we'll see them later on in a couple of weeks, but right now we actually we're borrowing their house, hanging out here for a little bit while we regroup and figure things out. It took us a while to get everything cleared and figured out to head to Sweden. It was kind of a very quick decision. I actually drove into Lisbon Airport. There was no way you could get through to the airlines, the service centers. And we flew Brussels Airlines from Stockholm to Brussels to Lisbon down in January, and we were booked to fly up the same route backwards on April 1st. We thought that's not the best of ideas. This is getting worse by the day, right? So we actually decided to rebook. Calling the service centers for actually any airline, not just Brussels Airlines, is not doable, right? There's nobody there. Actually, there's a ton of people there, and they're working really, really hard. And I don't really envy the amount of work they're having to do right now. But the phone lines are just so long to get there. So what I did was I drove into Lisbon Airport and got a hold of the ticket office there, and they were really great. They helped us. They rebooked us to an earlier date, and that worked out really well. Interestingly, though, after we got rebooked, about the next day, we got rebooked. The next day, I got an email saying that that flight's been canceled. So I actually did have to call into the service center. This time I had more time, so I sat in line while I worked. Got a hold of a Brussels Airlines employee there who was also really, really helpful, and he got us actually scheduled the same day, actually a better flight, a direct flight with TAP Airlines, the Portuguese airline, from Lisbon to Stockholm. So that worked out really well. We arrived in Stockholm, tired of course, but we made it down. We rented I was looking at hotels, but we rented like an apartment hotel. It's like a studio apartment, and you rent it daily, or I guess monthly if you want to. I thought that was actually really, this is a really great thing for us right now. We needed someplace to stay, and we could get us all in there, and that was great. That's not where we're at now, though. We were at the apartment hotel for a couple of nights in Stockholm, and actually my hometown, so we got to meet with my parents and some relatives of mine. Of course, my parents are bummed that we can't really hang out with anybody. Sweden is also not really on lockdown like Portugal, but we aren't supposed to be hanging out with anybody. And not just us, I mean, nobody's supposed to be hanging out with anybody. So my parents got to meet their grandkids, my kids, just like at the park and stuff. So we did that, and then we drove inland for about 2 hours to where we used to live. And like I said, where my sister-in-law and her husband and family, where they have a house. So we're kind of occupying their house. They're not here right now. They're at their cottage. We got to borrow this house, which actually works out really, really well for us. Thank you so much to them for helping out. That means the world to us. We'll be here for about a week or two. And the girls, of course, are wondering where their cousins are. But they're enjoying playing with their toys in their absence instead. This week we're just kind of regrouping. Both me and Erica have a bunch of work left to do that we didn't do last week because we're trying to get everybody out of Portugal and get everybody situated here. So packing an entire apartment in one day, getting the entire family out of Portugal into Sweden the next day, and then repacking everything, unpacking, repacking over and over again. And then, we picked up a car. We bought a car, more on that to come. But we picked up a car, got situated with a roof rack and all those kinds of things. And we're set up now. That's pretty much taken up majority of the last couple of days, just getting everybody situated.
See the light of a new day dawning. Feel the love from a beating heart. Catch a ride to the top of the world. This is where we start. No, we can't make it last forever. We gotta use all the time we have. And you know that we'll never say never if we ever get the chance. And it's good to be alive. It's good to be alive. This feeling's running high. Life is calling and the world is beautiful. Na 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 There's a winding road we're choosing, looking for a brand new day. And up ahead there's an open door, now we'll find our way. There's a hope for a new tomorrow. We can dream that we'll rise above. Let me be your guide to follow, and you'll always feel the love. And it's good to be alive. It's good to be alive. This feeling's running high. Life is calling and the world is beautiful. Na 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 Seize the moment and start right now. Play the music and live. Well, it's good to be alive. So good to be alive. This feeling's running high. Oh.
Remember, as usual, we do need you to subscribe. It really does help us out. Go ahead and like the videos if you thought they were worth a thumbs up. But please subscribe. We're also on Instagram. Hopefully you can follow us there as well. You should actually check out Instagram. We'll probably let you know where we're going after this on Instagram first.